Thanks for following the American Coalition for Ethanol. This video is part of our virtual content series where we explore a variety of topics around the ethanol industry. Catching up today with Ron Lamberty, Senior VP at ACE, and probably somebody who doesn't need much of an introduction in the ethanol community. And Market Development Guru, I think, does that title fit, Ron?
Anything that indicates age usually is appropriate.
Well, you bring the perspective from the retailer side of the ethanol industry, and I know that that's something that I personally appreciate in getting to work with you. So thanks for taking some time to chat today. We've been hearing for a few months now about a new USDA program called HBIIP.
What did he say?
Which stands for Higher Blends Infrastructure Incentive Program. So I thought the most appropriate title for our talk today might be, What the BIP is HBIIP?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
it comes with the territory. Break it down for us, Ron. What do we need to know about HBIIP?
Well, the HBIIP is kind of the second iteration of something USDA did several years ago, where they put money out for station owners to put infrastructure into their stations if they needed upgrades or new equipment in order to handle higher blends, the first part of that, of ethanol. And in this case, the program also has money for biodiesel. In addition to stations, this time the money is going to, you can use it to build distribution facilities, update terminals, and that sort of stuff too. So it's a little more wide ranging than the last one. It's still $100 million total. And it's money that goes to people who sell our product, not the people who, not the industry itself. It just helps make getting the fuel out into the marketplace easier and more affordable.
Yeah, and we talk about giving consumers more choices at the pump too, and I think that's a big part of this program as well.
Right, and in order to get those choices to them, you got to, the people who sell our product are the stations. They make the decision of what products go out there on their islands. So we've always worked with those people because they're the ones who ultimately offer those choices for the consumers to make.
And one of the things that we've noticed in this program is the emphasis and the importance on the single station owners or the small chain owners having access to these dollars. What's the significance of that?
Well, the earlier BIP program, which for various reasons had to handle the money differently, was done in a way where the only people who could really commit to doing the program were people who either had a lot of locations, or in all cases the money went to different states, or if the states then were committed to using the money according to whatever they had. They had a very short window, and as a result, the only people who could really commit to using those dollars last time were people who had a lot of stations. So most of the money went to large chains, and it created kind of a backlash among the small stations. And 62%, according to NACS's most recent number of convenience stores, 62% of them are owned by single store owners. And that's who we've always dealt with, because our strategy has always been to get an owner in one area, either an individual or a small chain. And if they're in a new area and they convert and have a product that gives them a competitive advantage, eventually the rest of the marketplace will wonder what's going on there and then come to us, and the fuel will get into the marketplace. And so that's what we're trying to do with E15, with E85. And with this program, the biggest change is that the individual station owners will be able to apply for it themselves. They won't go through a state or some other organization to get their funds. They'll be able to apply for them directly. And the program has some preferences. It's a grant program that's scored, and they've got preferences for owners of 10 or fewer stations, and that's going to help. On top of that, they have limits of $5 million per applicant. So the biggest it's still quite a bit so that the biggest chains can still do a lot of work and put in a lot more area or a lot more offerings, offer in more places. But there's, this carve out for those stations less than 10, so they will be able to compete against others their own size for the grant dollars.
You talked a little bit about the application and the window of time, and that it's not a lot of time to apply, but I think it's easy to get bogged down in the details of the program and the requirements of the application. But it's also just as important to let people know that there are resources out there that can help walk them through those channels. So what's the best way for folks to learn more about the program?
Well, we have a website that's flexfuelforward.com. That's a marketer to marketer information site where we highlight the stories of people who are selling higher blends, and how they did it, what they went through, all that sort of stuff. But we'll have on there links to the USDA application site, and we'll have some information to simplify it for them. Anytime you're dealing with a program this size, there's going to be all kinds of steps, and it's easy to open up the website where you apply and look at the information that they're asking for and just be terrified by it. If you're a single station owner, which means you're ordering all the product for your station, you're probably working in the station, you're doing all those things, it just doesn't look like you're going to have time. And according to the grant, if you read the request and they get to the end of it, they say it takes 78 hours to fill out all the stuff, which even in the webinar that we listened to last week, they said they're talking about a big chain there. I walked through a few of the steps today, and it doesn't, it's a couple of minutes, but you need to know what information is needed to do those things. And so what we're going to try to do on that flexfuelforward.com website is put all that information in kind of a cheat sheet, a Cliff Notes versions of what we heard on the webinars and what station owners have to get ready. And so we'll have the first one, which is basically a shortened up version of here's what you need to apply, because that's going to be step one. And be able to, throughout the process, our job, my job since I've been at ACE has been translating, government talk or oil industry talk to station owners and other people who are involved. So it's, in a lot of cases, it's a translator, but it's also, the job is to simplify it so that, people who are very busy and have a lot of things going on will be able to go through and find out what it is that they need to do to be able to apply for this program.
And I think you hit that on the head. We're going to learn more about this as we dig into it, and so we're going to be keeping those resources as current as we can as we work with retailers and as we learn more about it ourselves. So thanks for making time today, Ron. For more information, like Ron said, connect with ACE at ethanol.org or at flexfuelforward.com to stay current on all those program details and resources. Thanks, Ron.
You bet.